What makes a good book good? I'm writing a book, but I feel like I'm lacking in understanding what makes a good book. I want to reach out and see what advice there is out there. Number one, do there need to be a villain? Okay. Number two, can the book be about a character just enjoying life? And number three, can conflict come later in the book or does it always have to be suspenseful? Okay, good questions. These are just a few questions out of millions I'm trying to understand. Any advice will help. Okay, so I kind of want to go outside the box a little bit because yes, I could dive deep into um, characters and plot and like world building and what makes a good book is like the combination usually of the three tend to be one usually need to have one stand out over the other. Like a lot of times people will say like, oh yeah, what really got me invested into the book is the characters, or I fell in love with the world building, or like the plot was just so suspenseful and amazing. Like that's what really got me into the book. Like honestly, you can't really control why people like the book. Well, you kind of can in a sense, in a way, in terms of like the amount of like effort and the process of like when you're sharing the book with others, seeing what they like most and what the strengths of the book is before publishing. Yeah, that could give you an idea of like, okay, this is what the book is strong at, and you could kind of like see which areas could be improved to make a good book. But what I really want to talk about is like the fundamental foundation of like what makes a person consider a book good or good enough to read. And I want to pinpoint a video I reacted to. This is in my channel where I discussed about George. I think I watched not an interview, but a discussion. The author of Game of Thrones, yeah, author of Game of Thrones, he was discussing about like his reading habits, and well, the main topic was what it means to be a writer, but one thing he was discussing about was his reading habits, and one thing he wasn't really have a grasp on was why is there books where like he understands that it has like good plot, good characters, good world building. Some people have high praise for it, but yet when he reads the book, he doesn't really feel anything about it. Like it's just like he's just going through the motions of reading the book in a sense, but he doesn't really feel anything about it. But there's books where he kind of like don't really like, and he kind of like despise and like you wish the author does this part better or that part better, but yet he finds himself like engaged in reading the book entirely, even though he didn't really like it as much. And I think that goes with the whole thing about what makes a good book good. And what I got out of that was feelings and engagement. So, like, I believe that if you're able to get somebody to have a reaction to your story, then, and I mean, like, it could be good or bad. Like, as long as you're able to engage someone's emotions in the story, I think that's what makes books memorable, and that's when you could have the potential to be good. Because if someone's reading your story and he just going through it and like, okay, that was cool, that was all right, and then like they're just going through it and not really thinking twice about anything that was written, I think that's when a book becomes forgettable and is like considered bad. Cause if you think about it, right, what do you think like people who hate certain books, like what do you think is the main reason why they hate those books? It's probably because they seen the potential of the book and they see what it could be, but because it's not what they imagine it to be, that's why they don't like it as much, or it's turned from like it turned to hatred, right? Like that's probably the case because their emotions are engaged. That means when someone's emotions are engaged, I believe that means they care. Like you need to make them care about the story in the first place before you could really consider your book even have a chance to be good. And one way to do that, of course, is to have like beta readers or just anybody read your story and see how they feel. And that's one of the main things I like to do when I'm giving people feedback in their stories is I always want to give them my initial reactions when I read certain scenes, certain chapters, their certain dialogue, character introductions, new setting, things like that. I like to give my initial reactions because that would give an idea of like how maybe a typical reader who reads your story is gonna feel and how they're gonna react when they first get revealed certain information. And what I notice is the books where I like have a reaction, I'm like, what? How did that happen? Like, wait, what? What was going on? Or like it doesn't even have to be like, oh, me questioning things. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened. Like it doesn't have to be something spectacular like that. Or it just could be me like, yeah, that was good. That was really good. Like something has to um come out of the person. Like you gotta speak to their soul in a sense. Like you gotta have like something in your story where like someone just like feel like like not relate to them, but it just makes them care. I don't know. I don't know what's the better word to say, but it makes them care in a sense. Like the number one factor you need is to make sure the reader cares and they actually are engaged emotionally. One way I've been thinking about doing that is by engaging characters' emotions. So, like, I noticed is if the main character is curious and is questioning everything that's happening, it gets the readers curious and questioning what's happening. When the main character is like frustrated and is going through hard time, is like that's when the readers could like feel their pain and that's when they could be feeling that frustration as well. That's one way to do it. Of course, there's times where that's not gonna work because they don't really care about the main character at all. But that's one way I've seen it done. But yeah, like overall, emotions is the primary factor into how good a book is. Like somewhat, even if it's like bad emotions, where like a character yeah, like, that's another thing too, like, a character does something that, like, really irks the reader, like, that is gonna make a reader continue reading because sometimes they just wanna see that character's downfall and hope it happens in the story. There's multiple ways to do it, but any type of engagement of emotions, it doesn't have to be just positive, it could also be negative too, like, "Damn, I really hate that character. I hope this author let this character die in the end, things like that. Like I'm praying for his downfall. Like things like that. Like any type of emotion. Like think about your favorite stories that you read in the past or shows you've seen. Like what is the connection? What is the correlation? Like I know the best memories you had on a story is when you had like a crazy reaction and you couldn't believe like a certain scene happened in the story. That's why I want to focus on that fact. Like engaging the reader's emotions is number one when it comes to writing a good book. I don't think enough people talk about that. And truly, if you're able to do that, then you have a shot of making a good book. That's why I look for that when it comes to like beta readers and stuff like that. It's like, okay, how are they reacting to this scene or in this chapter? Like what is it like good or bad? Like what is the reaction? If it's no reaction, if you just getting blank face, like, okay, oh, that's cool. Yeah, all right. If you're getting those, then it's like, okay, I might need to get back into the drawing boards and like change a few things because honestly, no reaction is worse than a bad reaction, right? Because at least they care. Like emphasis on that. Like at least they somewhat care. So yeah, you let me know like what you guys think about like what makes a good book. I just want to give that perspective of like emotions, engagement, reactions, things like that. And of course there's other areas of like the importance of like making a good character like some quick advice is like writing out characters that people would admire and by doing that is like writing a character that maybe you would admire or like writing a character that that's relatable to people, things like that, like a plot that makes you curious. One thing I'll say, if you have a reaction to your own scenes, he's like, oh my god, like You ever have those moments where an idea pops into your head and it's like, "Oh my god, if this was to happen, that would go crazy." Like, if you don't feel, like, good about that idea, like, the idea itself doesn't give you a reaction, then it probably I wouldn't say it's not a good idea, but it's less likely that others will have a reaction to an idea if you don't really have much of a reaction when you first came up with it, right? So, yeah, think about those moments because I know when I think about ideas, there's certain times where an idea is just like, oh my God, like this would be really good to write down. And I'm like, yo, we're cooking, you know? And if you don't feel that way, then it's not to say it's a bad idea, but think about those moments, those times where you had a reaction when a good idea appeared in your head. Think about those times. And that's how you want your readers to react when it comes to them seeing those ideas, those details revealed in the story. So, yeah, I hope this helps anyone who's thinking about like or overthinking about what makes a good book. Like, don't overthink the details and about like, oh, do I need a villain? Do I need like characters that like enjoy life? Like, that's cool. Like, these are great questions, and this will definitely help with setting the foundation of like writing a good story. But the foundation, like the core, I should say, the core of writing a good book is how much your emotions are engaged, how much you like really like these characters and you really enjoy these plot scenes, these plot lines, the world building. Like, does it give you some type of reaction out of it? And does maybe a few others got a reaction out of it as well. Because once you see that, then that's when you know you have a shot of writing something great. So yeah, I hope this helps. If you want somebody to like read your outline, give you some suggestions, some ideas, maybe some questions that help you navigate some feedback. Also, someone who could give their initial reactions to your first outline, your and then so that you'll be able to write out your draft. You could click the link down below to book a consultation call with me. There's also be a video here or there that would, of course, explain my consultation calls. There's also a video of me like going over someone's story, so you could also check that out to kind of see my process a little bit. Of course, I didn't spoil anything, so you don't have to worry about that. It's more like a general sense, just like how this video is like a general like advice. So yeah, hope this helps, and yeah, have a great day. Thank you.